Oh, bonjour, it's me, Lupin, from the Netflix series Lupin. You can tell I'm French because of my accent and this wine and this cheese I have. I like to read books or comics or something about a guy named, what's his name? Arsène Lupin or something like that? I don't know, who cares? Anyway, my dad was framed for stealing some type of necklace or something. I wasn't really paying attention. Oh, my accent's gone. I'm cosplaying over here, everybody. I'm just joking, guys. It wasn't Lupin, it's me, Chad, the host of this show. Hey, we're talking about Comic-Con, and this was the cold open. Goodbye!
It's news time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
Welcome back to News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the Comic-Con news you didn't know about. What if I told you that 50 years ago, one of the most popular conventions was born? I'm not talking about RomCon Con or Shaka Khan Con or James Bond Con or Miss Saigon Con or Butter Pecan Con or Breaking Into Song Con. A joke for 6 people who definitely don't watch this show. I'm referring to Comic-Con. For decades, it's brought together all the comic book reading nerds, no matter their alliance to Marvel or DC or other. I usually mark prefer to decline, but that won't help me get the job. Comic-Con International, that nonprofit that puts on the convention, hosts the original show, San Diego Comic-Con in California. Since its debut in 1970, several other cities have followed suit with their own cons, albeit at a much smaller scale. The one in San Diego has no affiliation with the others, so don't make that mistake like I did and write an entire paragraph of this script only to delete it later. A slew of men co-founded Comic-Con after one of them, Shel Dorf, attended the Detroit Triple Fanfare in the late 60s. He did a one-day experiment in March of 1970 with a number of attendees to the original show. Later that year, the San Diego Comic-Con, as we know it today, begins its initial 3-day tenure. The attendance numbers seem to balloon year after year. The last in-person convention landed around 130,000 visitors to the San Diego Convention Center. That's not including the almost 3,000 media people, too. $149 million in revenue was brought to this city. And these numbers are nothing to shrug off. San Diego Comic-Con is the largest convention in the world, yet it's probably the smelliest. I can say that because, remember, I am a jock. Comic-Con involves buying and selling merch and cosplaying and showing off what's coming to the nerd world. The video games, TV shows, and movies have the spotlight as they take the stage in the famed Hall H. In years past, it was the best place to get a sneak peek at new superhero movies or premium cable shows, but that has since changed. Now the companies that used to show up at the convention throw their own conventions, such as Disney and its D23 Expo, or Warner Media and LeBron Space James 2 Legacy Gone Wrong. Sorry, I meant to say a DC fandom. These and others all share similarities in the San Diego Comic-Con. It's about control for these companies. If Disney wants to save the bigger reveals for its own event, then it will. Why give the headline to the competition? Why have their name on it when your IP is bigger? For now, Comic-Con is obviously different. Redubbed Comic-Con at Home, the event now takes place for everyone, not just for those who spent money on tickets. Unfortunately, unlike other conventions like E3 or events like the Academy Awards, Comic-Con at Home didn't perform well for the 2 years it had to spend behind the lens of a webcam. For one, I didn't even know it happened last weekend, and this episode was planned out on the schedule 2 months ago. Plus, no real big news came from this year's convention. As I said before, places like Disney and Warner Media's DC Comics have their own conventions that are young but growing. Some may say nascent. Did I use that right? Just because Disney and DC Comics have their own parties doesn't mean like other companies like Lionsgate or Sony or Viacom CBS have capital to do the same thing. Opposite reasoning of streaming services can be applied here. Comic-Con is going to need to adapt to the times if it wants to survive. And it will. There's a second convention during Thanksgiving that promises to be good enough. People still love seeing their favorite actors appear on panels, and what Comic-Con has over all of its rivals, there's no beating the fan-to-star connection. A-listers will attend this show without question. Then they'll have to answer questions from fans. I hate it, but it's also a good time to create personal connections with the audience. I just want people to stop asking if I was really in love with other Chad during our sex scenes. The answer's obvious. Comic-Con is one of the better conventions. It's managed to become a household name and subsequently maintain it while also gaining the interest of outside parties who might not necessarily enjoy nerd culture by appealing to their interests. Unlike E3, it's changed fast enough to not tread water, but it's got to do more, or risk its audience longing for the golden era. Speaking of golden eras, you can check out our golden era. That was maybe about a year or two ago by subscribing. And check out more of our videos. Of course, you can head to the website cpluscomedy.com where there are so many interviews with your favorite comedian people and also entertainment people that you're going to go, did he just say comedian? You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Chad Black White. Like us on Facebook. Listen to the Constitutionals podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And I got nothing.